Welcome back, everyone. I am Vita Prestior, and this is Arkham Horror, the card game on Tabletop Simulator. Scarlet keys, all the good stuff. All right, so we are doing Dead Heat, and this will be the first time I've actually done it properly. So we'll dive right into this. So, Intro 1. You are jolted awake by the sound of screeching wheels as your train shudders to a stop. Although it is barely morning, the heat from the sun rises in shimmering waves from the sweltering pavement to veil Marrakesh in an otherworldly glimmer. Your head pounds. The city wavers like a mirage in the middle of the Moroccan desert. Check the time. I believe we're exactly 15. Yeah, we're exactly 15 right now. We go to Intro 3. There are no cabs to hail outside the railway station, so you walk to meet your contact on the rooftop of a near-empty cafe. The man who greets you has a boyish frame offset by a well-kempt beard that covers deep laugh lines. However, he is not smiling. You're late, he says gravely. I sent a telegram to the Foundation requesting assistance. We are in dire straits, as you say. You apologize and tell him you've done the best you can, and he rubs his brow worriedly. I'm sorry, it is good you are here, but I fear that things are set in motion already. Things are no longer, we no longer have the time nor power to stop. He gestures for you to sit. I am Latif. Please, you will want to sit down for this. A spread of tempting local delicacies has been laid out on the table, but judging from the spare remnants, Latif ate most of it due to nerves. He shows you several newspapers in turn with headlines detailing desecrated tombs, dying crops, and numerous missing persons reports. As he relays these sobering events to you, you catch a scent of something foul on the wind. Looking out across the city, you see a pattern of inky black vines that run across building facades. At a distance, they look like raised veins on a dying body. My friend? Latif's voice breaks through your reverie. You apologize and you ask him about the vines. The middle-aged man sighs. Yet another mystery, it seems. Last night, there was a great commotion outside Bahia Palace. Screaming and gnashing teeth, I sent one of my informants to investigate, and he never returned. Soon after, the strange black blooms appeared, growing on every wall and surface. They stink of rot and produce awful sharp thorns. I wouldn't dare touch them. Before this strange business began, my brother told me he saw our late grandfather walking the streets in his burial shroud. I would have dismissed it, but for the dozens of similar stories, there are now crowds of slow-moving, silent people walking the streets. Their eyes are empty, though their bellies are not. Latif says bitterly, then drains the rest of his teacup. I believe the one who calls herself Amaranth is responsible. You might recognize her from the Foundation's dossier. How helpful that they blot out the most important details in their missives. Latif produces a crisp photo of a beautiful 20-something woman in a black dress and matching gloves, and a gaudy blossom tucked behind her ear. Another of my informants said he saw this Amaranth at the Bahia Palace Gardens. Some strange work is afoot, and she is at the center of it. I say we go to the palace and put a stop to whatever awful plans she has in place, but be ready for anything. You catch a now familiar scent of rot on the wind, and look down to the lip of the rooftop cafe. A single black tendril has crept up the side of the building. At the end of the vine, a bulbous black fruiting body has begun to develop. You aren't sure if it is a trick of the late morning sun or if there is some other strange process at work, but you could swear you see a shimmer of phosphorescent green flash along the body and a noticeable movement, though there is no wind. All right, and then we'll go to setup. So, based off the time, it will decide how many civilians have already been killed. So first things first, we need to, for each location in play, place resources on it equal to one more than the number of investigators. So that is 3. So, yeah, I had to think about that for a second. All right, these locations are not flipped, I don't think. Yeah, it is not flipped. Okay. I'm going to make copies of these. I'm going to set these on top because of the stickiness of the tokens. So I've never, like I've mentioned, I've never officially done this one, and we're going at this apparently a little behind. I mean, it did tell us that it's urgent, but in order to get to Amaranth, to get the information on Amaranth, you have to get all the way to San Francisco. So the only way you can actually make it back in time, we were 1 away. So if we had not gone to either Anchorage or Havana, like just passed through it, that would have been enough. But that would still be kind of a weird detour to do to actually make it. So we'll see if this screws us over or anything. Anyway, so yeah, if there's 11 or 17 time has passed, you need to take 2 civilians as evenly as possible among all locations in play. Those civilians have are slain. Okay. So the way civilians work in this scenario, resources on locations represent the innocent civilians of Marrakesh who are in grave danger. For the purposes of any movements and enemy attacks, enemies treat civilians as if they are investigators. Enemies do not engage civilians, but may attack civilians at their location as if they were engaged. If a civilian is attacked, they are automatically slain. Civilians remain present on a location when it is revealed. When a civilian is slain, place it on the scenario reference card to track how many civilians have been slain. So we're going to take we'll take a civilian off 2 locations. But real quick, got all those. Where are we starting, by the way? We are starting at the Marrakesh railway station. So here. All right. Let's... Not sure which of these are actually safe to do. I'm going to remove one from the gardens and one from the square. I'll take this down here and use that to track that. Okay. All right. Let's continue onwards. So we have 15 time exactly, so we need to remove Act 1 from the game. So that just goes away. The game begins at Act 2. Place Doom equal to the number of players on Agenda 1. So we're going to be starting with 2 Doom. Spawn Amaranth, lurking corruption at Bahia Palace Garden, and attach the last blossom to her. Put the set aside, save the civilian story card into play, and then shuffle the Khalid enemy into the encounter deck. So here's Khalid. Here's Amaranth. And here's save the civilians. Will she have the last blossom? Oh, and with the last blossom attached. All right. And then, so yeah, it just adds Khalid to the encounter deck. Got it. Also, we need to add the Red Glove Man, because obviously we have to. At least the deck is a little bit bigger this time around. All right. Also, these abandoned locations are just for the... we can use the abandoned locations here to do randomization if we need to. Save the civilians. A piercing howl resounds through the dusty streets, accompanied by the sound of feeding. Bystanders flee packs of the hungry dead as you traverse the city. All around you is the scent of rotten blood. Only you can save the people of the city from a terrible fate. The civilians of Marrakesh are under attack. By getting them out of harm's way, you may be able to avert a massacre. Note, civilians still on locations are neither rescued nor slain. Action, spend 1 clue, rescue a civilian from your location, place it on this card. When the game ends, flip this card, keeping all tokens on it. So we'll put this down here, keep track of those. All right, Amaranth, I believe, is going to the garden, and she's going to have the last blossom. It's going to be on its unstable side. So let's go ahead and read up on this, though. The last blossom, Paracausal Symbiote. The shift effect is heal damage and horror from each investigator location. Flip this to unstable side. File 11B31, subject class red. Key appears as flora of extraterrestrial origin with long black prehensile vines that attach intravenously with the host. And then the unstable effect is you have to heal a damage from each enemy in play. Then if an investigator has shifted this, it flips. And then forming a neural link with host, much like the symbiotic relationship of a parasite with access to host thoughts and memories. Amaranth, lurking corruption. Human code ray elite, 3 fight, 4 evade, 6 health, hunter. When damage or horror from Amaranth's attack is assigned to an asset, defeat that asset, and Amaranth shifts each of her attached keys. Many say that they would do anything for love, but I actually mean it. Victory 1. So yeah, this is any asset. Even it could be a Holy Rosary. It could be a ally. Victory 1 hits for 1 damage and 2 horror. Whew, boy. Dealing with her immediately is going to be a problem. All right. So she spawns. All that's done. I think we're good. Yep, we are ready to go. I'm a little worried about this one. Our starting location, Marrakesh Railway Station. Forced. If Marrakesh Railway Station has no civilians on it, swap it with its set-aside abandoned version. Your initial impressions of Marrakesh seems pleasant, from the gentle, dry heat to the striking Moorish architecture and colorful tilework. However, you also sense an unspoken fear among those around you. So one thing to note is the civilians do count as players as far as hunter movement and all that good stuff. So if we need to, we could unfortunately sacrifice some civilians. Let's go ahead and go over the agenda. Agenda 1A, there are 2 agendas. Gnashing Teeth. Everywhere you go, you have the distinct feeling of being followed, as though the shadows themselves move of their own accord. In nearby alleyways and backroads, you hear the gnashing of teeth and the tearing of meat. The palpable sense of unease only grows stronger as night falls. Each risen enemy and each ghoul enemy gains spawn random location, and it has 8 doom there. Ritual of Life and Death. A network of necrous vines has grown through the city, spurred on by Amaranth. The woman with the red flower is conducting strange rites upon a stolen corpse in the Bahia Palace Gardens. You must stop her at any cost. After a civilian is slain, if 8 or more civilians have been slain, you advance this act, or if Amaranth would be defeated, you would advance. Okay. Tokens. Skull is -1 for every 2 civilians slain, so right now it's -1. Cultist is -4 if you fail. Choose a non-elite enemy at your location. That enemy readies and attacks you. Tablet is -1. If you may take 1 damage. If you do not, a civilian at your location is slain. That is terrible. Holy crap, that's awful. All right. So with that in mind, let me put a break here and BRB. All right. Let's hope this is going to go okay. All right. Shuffle. You're good to go. Draw. All right. We definitely want Spectral Shield right here, right now. Everything else we'll set aside. The Eyes of the Dreamer is mostly there for soaking, just in case. All right, well, we're Cloven for now. All right, let's go to Ursula. Deal to orange. These are fine. Everything else can be set aside. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we need clues to get these civilians out of here, so that may be something we're doing for a bit. All right. Let's go ahead and flip this location over. 3 shrouds, 0 clues. Lightning bolts, move to a connected location. Group limit once per turn. Action, resign, you flee the city. Note, if there are no investigators in play, all remaining civilians in play will be slain. If Marrakesh Railway Station has no civilians on it, swap it with the set-aside abandoned version. Okay. And then, yeah, we got a bunch of locations nearby. This one, all of them have the thing about swapping to abandon. The royal necropolis of the Saudian dynasty. This is the final resting place for much of Morocco's 16th century royalty. Some of its beautiful tile work was destroyed with the recent theft. And then this one, the Jema El Fana Square, the center of commerce in Marrakesh. This huge open-air market is the go-to place for acquiring food and supplies. The area is thick with the music of buskers and the smell of spices and roasted meats. Over here we got the tanneries. You have heard reports of strange disappearances near the tanneries, where leather is processed in large vats of pungent chemicals and dyes. And then over here, the Bahia Palace Gardens. The sprawling and opulent palace draws many admirers. The jewel of the palace is its courtyard garden, an oasis of lush vegetation amidst a harsh desert. Okay, Jacqueline. Let's go ahead and first action draw a card. Second action, we're going to spend 2 to go ahead and get out Holy Rosary. And then last action, we're going to go ahead and draw another card. Okay, Breath of Sleeper we can fight with, at least. That's enough for me to at least go and duke it out against Amaranth. So that will at least get us somewhere. Alright, Ursula. Spend 3 to get out the Grim Memoir. I'm going to spend 1 to get out Segment of Onyx. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of the Lightning Bolt move, and I'm going to go ahead and head south into the square. Three Shroud, 9 clues. Action, if 1 or more civilians are on this location, reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. You may play an asset from among those cards, paying its cost, shuffle the rest of it into your deck. Okay. I will go ahead and use my ability with this to investigate. This location has 3 Shrouds, so I'm going to go ahead and use a Grim Memoir and a Deduction. This will be 7 to 3. I pass just barely, so I don't get a card draw, but I do get the 2 clues. Okay. Not too shabby. I will go ahead and use my last 2 actions to spend 2 clues and rescue 2 of these guys. Since there's no clues left, nothing left on this, let me check the swapping location stuff. Replacing locations, all tokens and attachments and stuff get swapped over. Okay. So I will take the location here. And then I'm going to swap this one to here. And there we go. Abandoned. Wind whistles through the empty square, accompanied by the sound of slow footsteps and low groans of the risen. It's now 4 Shroud. While you're at Jamal Square, increase the cost of each asset you play by 2. Stalls and tables are tipped over, and merchandise is ruined. Oh, sorry, I think I said 9 clues. It's actually 6 clues. Is ruined. The entire square is devoid of both patrons and merchants. You won't be buying anything here anytime soon. Okay. At the very least, we cleared out 1 spot. So some progress there. All right. That is everybody. We'll go to enemy phase. Enemy is going to gobble up a civilian. So we're up to 3 now. All right. And then upkeep. Okay, we got a Shriveling. Perfect. That's enough to start duking it out against Amaranth. And we're definitely going to do that. So, Mythos, 3rd Doom of 8. Grasping Hands, test Agility 3. For each point you fail by, take 1 damage. I'll go 2 to 3. I fail, and I'm going to use a Deny Existence to negate it. Compulsion. Put Compulsion into play in your threat area. When your turn begins, reveal a random token. If it's any of the bad symbols, the first action you perform during this turn must be the below ability if able. So it essentially forces you to discard it. Okay, so it just hangs around until it forces you to get rid of it. Or you could do it yourself. Okay, investigation phase. I'm going to start with Jacqueline. I'm going to spend 3 to get out Breath of the Sleeper. I'll spend 1 to fast out a Spectral Shield. I'm then going to do a Uncage the Soul to get out Shriveling. I'm going to use the Lightning Bolt ability here to go ahead and move over to the Bahia Palace Garden and say hi to our new buddy. Four Shroud, 4 clues. Reaction after you rescue a civilian at Bahia Palace Gardens. Heal 1 damage or 1 horror, and then it flips otherwise. Okay. Last action, I am going to go ahead and blast this thing. I'm going to go ahead and use Shriveling. This will put us at 8 to 3. And I'll use my ability with this. Okay, I'll do the -3, so I hit for 2 damage. Okay, meanwhile over here I need to reveal a random token. I'm good for this round. Alright. I don't know how many things are going to be at the tannery over here, but I guess one way to find out, I suppose. I'm going to go ahead and first investigate here with a Grim Memoir, and I'm going to spend one to do a Practice Makes Perfect. Search top 9. Is this an actual whiff? It is a whiff. Holy crap. What terrible luck. Alright, well, we're 6-4 right now. I'll commit a Eureka, 7-4, and hope for the best. Okay, we pass, and thankfully there's no civilians at this location to be slain. Alright, I will get a clue. So a 7-4, and I actually passed by 2, so I will draw 1 card. But I'll decide the order. I'll do Eureka first. Search top 3. I will take the red clock. Yeah, I'll take the red clock. And then shuffle, and then draw a card from Grim Memoir. Hey, got the other one too. Okay. So we got a clue for that. We need to get this red clock up and running. So I'm going to gain a resource and then use it. I mean, the other option is I move. Yeah, I'm just going to move first. I'll move over to Tanneries. Has 2 Shroud, 2 clues. Lightning Bolt, choose a resident enemy from the encounter discard pile and spawn it engaged with you. Place clues on Tanneries equal to its health. If there are no civilians on it, swap it with the blah, 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 blah. Got it. I'm going to use my ability because I moved. This puts us at 4-2. I will use Grim Memoir to go 6-2. Alright, I passed by 2, so I do get a clue here. And I can draw a card. Perfect. Also, sorry, I'm back. I should be at 1 resource because I didn't actually do the thing I was going to say I was going to do. And then last action, I'm going to spend a clue to save a civilian. Okay. Enemy phase. I'm going to get punched because Amaranth is engaged with me. I'm going to soak the damage with the Spectral Shield and then take the 2 horror on her, so I'm not going to lose any assets. Because I don't want to shift the key. Alright. Then we go to Upkeep. Okay. Upkeep. Mythos. 4th Doom. Okay. When a Risen spawns, I have to randomly place it. So I'll shuffle here. Solid the tombs. One's going to spawn here. The first copy of Thrall drawn each round gains Surge. Okay. Lightning Bolt during your turn. Attempt to evade Thrall. It gains alert for this evasion temp. Limit once per round. Okay, it's a Lightning Bolt to do that. Has 2 fight, 2 health, and 1 evade. With dim light and thick clothing, they can clumsily pass for living, but by daylight, their unnatural pallor, glassy eyes, and gruesome wounds are impossible to hide. Okay. I will go ahead and draw another card. Touch of the Beyond. Place 1 Doom on the asset you control with the highest printed resource cost. If no Doom was placed by this effect, Touch of Beyond gains Surge. I felt a curious humming from deep within as though I were being called elsewhere. I will put a Doom on the Shriveling. Over here, I will put a Doom on the... There's not much I can do about this one. I will put one on Segment of Onyx. We're already on the way to advancing already. Okay, investigation phase. I'm going to start with Jacqueline. And we're just going to do the best we can. First action, I'm going to use Shriveling. 8 to 3. Alright, I pass. I will take 1 Horror for this, which will get soaked. Does 2 damage. And then I'm going to blast again, and I'm going to use my ability with this. Good thing I did. I'll take the +1 and do 2 damage to take her out. The land is dark. If this act advanced because Amaranth would be defeated, your final blow knocks Amaranth back, toppling an ancient brazier. As hungry flames consume the remnants of the ritual and the corpses, she screeches in anguish. Do you have any idea what you have done? Raisin, my love, flip Amaranth to her corruption revealed side, keeping all tokens and attachments on her, and move her to a random location with no investigators. Shuffle both copies of the set aside Ancient Raider enemy into the encounter deck. Okay, so we flip her over. She does keep all of her tokens, which means she does keep her damage. Alright, Corruption revealed. 4 fight, 4 evade, has 12 health now, so I'm halfway there. And same stuff as before with the attacking. All of you are just weeds in my garden. It's for 2 health and 1 horror now, so it's a complete flip. I'll go ahead and do a random location. It'll be the tombs. So we're about to lose a whole lot of civilians. Because I don't have an answer for that one. I mean, I guess I could try to tank everything. Which may be what I have to do. We do need to shuffle both copies of the set-aside Ancient Raider enemy. Okay. Flip. Keeping all tokens and attachments on her, move her to the random location with no investigators. Okay, so the good news is we don't spawn Raisin, whoever that is. But everything else about this is bad. Alright, Ancient Raiders have been added. Okay, Queen of Nothing at All. Unnatural vines choke the city streets as Amaranth pursues you, drunk with power. The blossom in her hair, it stretches wide like a garnet maw as she laughs cruelly. If neither Amaranth or Raisin or Fari are in play, advance. Okay, so I have an action remaining. I can go to the railway station and then immediately use the lightning bolt move to get to the tombs. And I can soak the thrall hit, and then the Amaranth hit will hurt quite a bit, but I can at least survive it. Yep, her previous one was 6 health, yep. Alright, so yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do, just to make sure no other civilians die. So I'll move, and then lightning bolt move to here. 1 shroud, 6 clues, gets +1 shroud for every civilian on it, so it's up to 4 now. When a non-elite enemy enters or spawns at the tombs, before it engages any investigators, exhaust it. If the tombs have no civilians, blah, 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 blah. So I'll get engaged by you, and you. At the very least, this will keep that stuff at bay. Alright, at the start of Ursula's turn, okay, I do need to spend 2 actions to get rid of this. So I will. Alright, I will spend 2 to go ahead and get out the red clock. And then that'll be it for my actions this round. Alright, enemy phase, I'm going to get hit for 1, which will get soaked. And then 2 and 1, so I'll take 1 damage and 1 horror. And I'm just going to have to hope I can kill her before everything else goes wrong. Alright, upkeep. Please no weakness. Thank you. Alright, and then over here, plan of action. Cool. Alright, Mythos, we're at 7 of 8. Famine. Put Famine into play next to the agenda deck. Increase the cost of each card you play by 1. At the end of the round, discard Famine from play. Those that ate the Blighted Crop died even faster than those who chose to starve. I can live with this. Alright, and then this one is Distorted Reasoning. Put Distorted Reasoning into play in your threat area. You cannot perform the same type of action twice in a row. At the end of your turn, you'll test Willpower 3 to get rid of it. So it's like the opposite of a haste. Okay. Or it's like the bad version of that other haste one where you have to do different actions to get an extra different action. All right. Investigation phase. Let's start with Ursula. She'll get a charge on the red clock. And I'm going to go ahead and investigate this location. We'll go... this will put us at 7 to 2 with thanks to red clock. Got the clue. And then I'm going to spin both clues. Actually, I can't do both clues. I'll spin one clue to get that. And then for my last action, I'm going to go ahead and move. Over to here. And then I will activate my investigate action. I'll do an activate action, which is different, and do that to do a grim memoir. But I'm not sure if that's how it works. Let me check. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to play it safe. And instead of moving, I'm just going to do a draw action. All right. Jacqueline. We just need to not die at this point. Let me check one thing. Okay, I think I'm good. All right, let's go ahead and start blasting at Amaranth and hope we can do enough. It's gonna be, it's admittedly gonna be a bit rough. All right, so I'm going to do a blast of shriveling, targeting Amaranth. We'll go 8 to 4. All right, this will kill. I'll take the damage, which will get soaked to not kill a civilian. I do pass. I do take a horror as well, but that's from a different source, so that's going to get soaked. And I'll do 2 damage here. And then I'm going to blast again. Using, we'll just do it raw. We pass, we do 2 damage. Whew. Can I survive this round? Yes. Barely. Alright. So, there's one thing... We have one chance to get this done right. I can either try Breath of the Sleeper and hope I get kill. As long as it's not double cultist, it might be doable. Alright, we'll do it. We're attacking with Breath of the Sleeper. I'm using all charges. And my ability. I'll come in and uncage the soul, so this will put us at 8 to 4. So with cultist, that will mean I'll still pass. I just need a double. This will be 6 tokens I'm revealing. That is it. That's what I needed. So making sure I did that right. There was the one token revealed, 3 charges, so that brings up to 4, and then my ability reveals another 2. So I'll cancel I'll take the -1 and cancel everything else, since I canceled something that is since I chose a reveal token that is matching a ignored one. I'm going to do 3 damage to Amaranth. And since I canceled the Elder Sign, I will draw a card. So this will do 3 damage and take her out. Oh, actually I did mess up one thing. Let me check. Okay, so on this side, if she only does a shift if it hits an asset. This one she does no matter what. So the shift for this, by the way, would just heal the damage from each enemy in play. So she was actually at 5 health because I did get hit by an attack, and then I went 2, 2, and then 3. So I still do 12 damage in total. So thankfully the Breath of the Sleeper was exactly what I needed to actually finish this. So we advance. Stand by me. Amaranth's tortured cry resounds through the streets as she collapses. A heady wind picks up, whipping the dust in the street into a frantic dervish as the hot sun beats down overhead. Black ichor pools around Amaranth's body as the nexus of vines begins to wither and desiccate around you. The hordes of risen dead stop in their tracks as if waiting for your move. You can see the remaining civilians of Marrakesh flee the city beyond them. Standing over the beautiful, terrible woman, you feel a pang of pity. As you turn her over, you notice the voluptuous flower behind her ear has wilted in the heat. She lets out a primal scream as you pull the blossom from her ear. The stem is several inches longer than you expected and sticky with blood. Check the campaign log. If you know her name, you do Resolution 3. So good stuff there. That was... So I'm pretty sure if we hadn't gone fast there, I'm pretty sure things would have gotten very ugly very quickly. Obviously, there's a variety of monsters that could have spawned to quickly start killing the civilians. This is my first time doing this because, like I said, the last time I did this, I had like 25 time, and I end up just it's when you show up, it's everything. Everybody's already dead. But for this, yeah, I think I did it right. I assume that whenever these guys are fighting me, they're not fighting a civilian. So that's kind of the one thing I'm assuming. Everything, and then of course I'm assuming the hunting moves are based off targeting civilians if they're civilians in their location, which that seems pretty obvious. So I think I did okay. If I do make a mistake, feel free to point it out. Like I mentioned, I record these in bulk ahead of time, so it won't really help me for this campaign, but it may be useful in the future. But yeah, this went pretty fast. Okay, so Resolution 3, because we did actually take the time to go and learn about her real name. So yeah, let's do this. Resolution 3. Looking down at the woman who called herself Amaranth, you call her by her true name. Erin Kochman? She holds her hand to her cheek as her cheeks flush. You see her eyes dilate as she begins to remember her former life. As her gaze passes over the last blossom writhing in your hand, she lets out a cry of horror. I had the most terrible dream, she says. I dreamt I was a great and terrible queen and that I ruled over a kingdom of silent subjects. Realizing what she has done, the changing Erin's demeanor is jarring. The woman who seemed so heartless and cruel now lies before you, weeping. It is clear to you that Erin's actions were not her own. You console her and lead her to safety along with the rest of the survivors, telling her that you will keep the blossom safe and prevent Amaranth from taking another host ever again. Never again, she echoes your words. Ever again. As you depart, the blossom furls and unfurls as if searching for another host. We get Victory X, which is not going to be much. 1 experience. So 1 experience plus 1 for great work, 1 experience, then plus 2 because of Karen's Opal. Choose investigator to be the bearer of the last block. Oh, actually, sorry, I forgot one other thing. When the game ends, flip this card over, keeping the tokens on it. As day breaks, the remaining survivors in Marrakesh emerge and the morbid arithmetic of counting survivors begins. Compare the number of rescued civilians on the aftermath with the number of slain civilians on the scenario reference card. Note civilians still on locations are neither rescued nor slain. If the number of rescued civilians is more than the number of slain of civilians, each investigator earns 2 bonus experience. If the number of rescued civilians is more than twice the number of slain civilians, each investigator gets 2 additional bonus experience points. Otherwise, you would take trauma, multiple trauma. If it's tied, nothing happens. So yeah, unfortunately, because 1 civilian did get killed. Actually, the thing that screwed us over was, well, 2 things screwed us over. One is Amaranth got a kill off, and then the other issue is the distorted reasoning ensured that I couldn't do another activate action. Oh yeah, I couldn't do an activate action anyway. Yeah, I was screwed either way. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do the move and investigate no matter what. But we do get 2 experience, which is more than I was getting originally. So 2 more experience, putting us at 5 and 7. Okay. So that's all taken care of. Cool. We do pick an investigator to be the bearer of the last blossom, so we will update that accordingly. Honestly, we'll go ahead and put this with Jacqueline. And that's pretty much it. Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay. In your campaign log, record Amaranth has left the coterie. All right, and then we get 2 time, which puts us exactly at 17, which has this symbol on it. So this is the the theta symbol. As you head to your hotel room, you spot a red envelope slipped under your door. Inside is a simple message: "My people in Ybor City know about the new passphrase and know you're coming. Drop by when you get the chance." It's signed Desi. Okay. Good to go. All right. So we at least got another key. That's more than what we had for a while. So this will be equipped to Jacqueline Fine. And let's go ahead and spin XP. So let me BRB. All right. So Jacqueline, I have 5 experience. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 experience upgrading one of my Deny Existences to level 5 using the Arcane Researches and Down the Rabbit Hole. And then I'm going to actually not upgrade the Rite of Seeking. Do I want to upgrade Rite of Seeking? You know what? Yes, we'll upgrade the Rite of Seeking for 1. So that'll leave us with 1 experience banked. Yeah, I completely forgot about the second use of Down the Rabbit Hole. But yeah, I need anything that can potentially heal me, and if I ever get hit by those heavy hitters again, I want to be ready for that. I do have, of course, this thing that try to heal me as well, but I'm not sure I'm going to be keeping it for much longer. So 1 experience remaining. MVP was definitely Spectral Shield, but honestly, we were pretty lucky. If we hadn't have drawn our attack spells, that we would have probably been in some trouble, because there's a lot of monsters. There's a lot of monsters, and then of course there's the Red Glove Man that could have gone after us. It could have very easily switched to a situation where we would have lost control of the board. So yeah, that was my first time doing that one, and showing up late definitely has its repercussions. If you want to actually get the quote-unquote good ending with, knowing Amaranth's name, you would literally have to ignore at least 1 location over here for at least a little bit, which isn't too bad. I mean, you could do I'm just wondering if there's another way to do it. I don't think there is. Yeah, I think the only way to do it would be to just go straight to San Francisco. Go to Marrakesh. and then somehow drop by Moscow, and then go back. You do have some time with Havana. As long as you get there before 20 time, you'll be okay. Anchorage, of course, you start with Doom on the clock, which if you're planning on being nice to Thorn, letting him win the quote unquote race in the beginning is not a big deal. So it's really hard to say. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting all distracted. I mean, playing this digitally, I'm actually pretty fond of Scarlet Keys, even though the difficulty is a little high. So we'll see how it goes. So that was Jacqueline Fine. We have 7 experience for Ursula, because we gained 3 experience plus 2 from Karen's Obel, and then we had 2 banked. So, good times. Also, if you're wondering, if you come here way too late, you do get 3 experience. So I pretty much broke even. The one big difference is if you do the good ending route, it does take up more time. It looks like, so it is what it is. And don't mind that X. I was counting time. I did some map planning off screen as well. So with 7 experience, I'm gonna go ahead and get a second Relic Hunter. So this will ensure that I can have all my relics, including Pin to the Queen, out at the same time. And then I'm going to swap out a Burning the Midnight Oil for 1 Cryptic Research, because we definitely need to get some card draw in. So that is exactly 7 experience. I really need to get the gold pocket watch, but getting 8 experience is quite difficult at this point. So we'll shuffle that, and we are ready to embark. So, we are right now at Marrakesh. That place has now been visited. We're good to go on that front. So I think my plan of action, I don't know anything about Alexandria. I don't know anything about this location. I do know about Constantinople, also known as Istanbul, I believe. So I'm okay with going over there. I'm just wondering, because my concern is this this symbol here. Okay, no, that's fine. Never mind. I'm not. I know what I can do. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm going to go to Constantinople. So fastest route to get there is by way of Rome. So we can go to Rome, which will cost us 1 time. And we can go check out Rome, which is 51 Tango or 51T. Check the campaign log if the cell is off mission. We are not, so we go to Romulus and Remus 2. Several fruitless days of searching for leads in Rome brings you to the Palazzo dei Conservatori on the Capitol Hill. Nestled among dozens of ancient statues is a bronze sculpture of the Lupa Capitolina, depicting 2 twin babies suckling from a mother wolf. Your guide explains the twins are Romulus and Remus, the two alleged founders of Rome. According to legend, the king, afraid for his claim to the throne, ordered them to be drowned in the Tiber. The twins were protected by the gods and taken in by a she-wolf who raised and fed them as her own. They lived in a cave until they were found and brought to safety. The guide leads the tour past another gallery filled with empty pedestals. You ask your guide what was on display before. Nothing, he chuckles. You comment on the number of empty rooms and displays, and the guide laughs dismissively. Much has been lost over the years, he says. Looking out over the city skyline filled with odd dips and empty gaps, you wonder if Rome itself is disappearing. Each investigator may begin the next scenario with 1 additional resource in their resource pool, and it can be revisited after you go to a scenario. So we'll mark this as visited, pull out another pen, and for 1 time block, we'll go to Constantinople. And with that, we'll be diving into Dealings in the Dark with 1 additional resource. So we get to look forward to that. Also, I think we might. So the last time I did this, I think I had I was pretty high on the time clock. So this one might be a little less punishing, hopefully. Oh yeah, it's going to be much less punishing. I'm definitely not at 25. So that'll make actually things a little less stressful for me, which is good. I think the plan. So my intention when I was kind of doing some theory crafting is I'm going to do Constantinople, go to Alexandria, and then rush to Ybor City after that, and then from there make a beeline towards Buenos Aires, and I think that'll be probably it for all of that. At that point, after I do Buenos Aires, I'll be out of time. Obviously, if you go to Tunguska without running out of time, it does give you a benefit, but I rather try to maximize as much stuff as I can. As far as I know from the experiences of the final stuff, getting rid of Amaranth will actually make things a little bit, hopefully, more on our side, but we'll see. Anyway, so with all that, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Eeyore. This was Arkham Horror, the card game, doing the Scarlet Keys with Jacqueline Fine and Ursula Downs. We just did Dead Heat, and we'll be diving into the dealings in the dark next time. See ya.